Keep in mind, due to the nature of today's series, we are going to be censoring a lot to try to keep the video monetized, but just in case it does not stay monetized, we do have a sponsor today, thanks to those at NordVPN for keeping this video up. Link in the description, and more on that later. I realize this is pretty much a Brazilian ripoff / adaptation of the British series Dead Set, a zombie drama by Black Mirror creator Charlie Brooker, and yes, I watched the dub version. Get over it. I don't want some smug elitist proclaiming some crap about subs versus dub. We're doing it this way, and we're doing it live! Oh, no. What broadcast would say,
"Tonight, after the news"?
Wouldn't they have their own personally branded news broadcast, not just some vague "da news"? The driver stops when he sees an accident, pulls over and sees a guy covered in ragu being eaten into by a bikini-wearing woman, and he just stares blankly at this without any emotional reaction? Where did these zombies come from in the midst of this political controversy? They just seemed instant transmission in the front to sink their teeth in. I realized this guy walked up into the "you're a crook" guy, but was fine. He seems okay here. Did he turn in the middle of having a heated political opinion? Oh, now there's 3 or 4 zombies out of nowhere. This congressman has no security following him out of the building, and their best course of action to escape is calling an Uber in the middle of a city-wide riot in Rio de Janeiro. Is there a come pick me up in the middle of a riot button on Uber that's like an extra $4 I'm not aware of?
We're going to need a police escort.
Sorry, man, but you'll have to excuse me. We're on a mission.
Because of course he has to have a money bribe in a zombie apocalypse because he's a politician, and they bribe people because corrupt politics. The driver gets bitten, but the zombie from earlier only bites him and leaves without any explanation. How did he get back to the car with a bitten out throat without being fully killed by that bikini zombie? Did the bikini zombie just get full and head home? You don't want your meat to go? And now we have I realize there are massive riots, but I don't care, I want to be famous. I'm a good girl, but I'm gonna start being a bad little girl before all this starts. The driver dies and comes back, and in no time flat, he easily eats, devours, tears up the 2 girls in the car so they can come to a slow stop in front of the show? How convenient! This specific zombie ignored the whole crowd. He went through a whole crowd of people. Why? To my knowledge, in decades of zombie media intake, they go after the first living person they see. Oh well, we don't see how the crowd gets overwhelmed, but we do get to see one of the girls from the car as a zombie somehow get into the media room, and the crowd-faring zombie makes its way there as well. So the rate of transmission is extremely fast, I guess? The whole crowd is turning in seconds. They're all turning into zombies. But the guy that was in the car had a bite in the neck and was able to get back in the car and was driven for what, at least half an hour? Seeing as how it was daylight out when they left the wreck and it was night when they arrived at the studio? Can one zombie series stay consistent in at least their first episode? Convenient that the hot host and the voted off contestant have this guy get attacked from a doorway to show them what the zombies are up to. Oh wow, we get a whole 4 minutes of character growth on this woman, and we get this dramatic slow motion death like we're supposed to care about her. The 3-way guy in the 3-way pie is the only zombie that finds its way into this secluded room so he can eat out one of the girls that he was going to eat out earlier? Convenient! Well, Rio is completely taken over by zombies, and news broadcasters casually just say, with barely any emotion and a very stone-faced expression,
The attackers are not technically alive.
wow, that's some good acting. The dead are rising from the graves and attacking the living, but, they're just technically not alive. It isn't a hammy zombie film or show without an aerial view of a town in flames with random explosions. I'll say this every time. How do a bunch of zombies cause explosions so frequently? I do like this shot of the one-way mirror covered in blood for the contestant not to see. I'll take off a sin for this one. That is a big ass pair of scissors to have in this conference room. Better sit here and stare at the zombie eating this girl's body long enough for him to notice me. How is this dead girl not reanimated by now? It's not like he ate her brains. He doesn't overpower her or bite her hand because every first zombie encounter has a main character on the floor pinned, to stab the zombie multiple times until they can finally stab the brain and walk away scot-free, learning that you have to destroy the brain. A zombie chases her outside, making as much noise as possible as she slams the door. She casually walks outside where a bunch of other zombies are looking the other way. Apparently, these zombies are deaf, so she could just stare at them for a long period of time. Aren't zombies, I don't know, attracted to noise? She opens the car door very quietly, and that gets all of their attention, not the slammed door, not all the other zombies going blah, blah. Luckily, there are 2 unlocked doors leading to other doors for her to stare at them through. She barely breathes, and this zombie instantly notices her. Now they have enhanced hearing?
Oh my god!
This girl is covered in blood, not dressed in Greek apparel after they take note of no outside contact happening, and they all start clapping thinking she is a replacement for their reality drama voting Total Drama Island show.
If you close the door.
This show relies heavily on licensed music, but only 1 song per episode played 2 to 3 different times. But honestly, they just feel hammy and out of place. Most of the time when they start playing, they have no rhyme or reason to be in these episodes. They start clapping for quite a long time, and the doucher says,
She's pretty hot.
No.
still not noticing how distressed and bloodied she is. I get it, it's a reality game show, but come on, have some sense. Apparently crippled zombies lack the know-how to crawl. This zombie is staring through the one-way mirror at Nina and doesn't react at all. Does not slam against it, trying to get in, does not scream or grunt, just stares. So every episode will start with Rio de Janeiro having a tragedy or explosion happening over the skyline because of zombies? Was Brad Pitt in the airplane there by chance?
Mom, calm down.
All this.
I'm okay. They came from everywhere.
They. Who are they?
It's always great to be vague about what happened when you and the room are covered in blood. Well, it's time to sit still perfectly and stare at another zombie eating a dead body long enough for them to notice you. Dude, keep walking. Why do you have to stop and spectate? And why do zombies suddenly jerk around perfectly to where people are staring at them even though they don't make any noise? Do they have a sixth sense for stalkers? Why is Jessica screaming this loudly and this much? This door is shut and the zombie can't get in. Better just keep making as much noise as possible to get on that casting couch for an all-you-can-eat buffet.
And when they die, they just keep walking around, do you understand?
So this is a universe where the concept of a zombie does not exist. Fair enough. But the fact that a girl brandishing real big-ass scissors in blood is threatening you not to open a door should be a red flag to not open the frickin' door. He goes through the door anyways, and the zombie conveniently attacks the moment he does. It didn't appear or make noise while everyone was screaming, or when Doucher banged on the door.
Maybe he's not only dead, but deaf too. Did you think of that?
Death too? Did you think of that?
Or even when the door was wide open and everyone was screaming yet again. Yet when he comes close to it, we have another case of the ninja zombie for plot convenience, despite every other zombie being attracted to sources of the slightest hint of sound. The black woman just sits there while they have a scuffle with her leg nearby. I don't know about you, but when 2 white people start fighting, I know damn well this sister would be 10 feet away from this fight by now. But no, she gets bit in the scuffle instead. Gotta say, the practical effects here are pretty damn good, minus 1 sin. They get a grand view of what the monsters are, trying to figure out what caused the pandemic, running from Batman Joker gas to chemicals in our food, but the apparent primary concern is if their show is canceled.
So does that mean we're no longer on TV?
Wait, hold on, the show isn't canceled because they left the camera feed to Olympus on. Oh wow! I guess the Brazilian emergency alert system is non-existent through all 500 of these channels because apparently zombies took down this service before attacking anything else. Apparently the simp got his zombified girlfriend into a separate room and locked her in there and is just gonna leave her be and have casual conversations with his mom? You might want to tackle that issue, maybe. I don't know. Boy oh boy, Dollar General Tim Curry sure makes this cringy.
I am the owner of this bullshit.
She comes to the conclusion that a bite means turning into a monster. But Madonna gets emotional, telling them to step away from her friend and that she will probably be fine. Because of course, the first bitten person has to have this dramatic encounter where don't hurt her, she's gonna be okay, before they turn. They decide to go to a pharmacy to try and treat the woman, and Nina makes the dumbest observation.
Great.
Fine, let's go.
No, it's not fine. Because it's out there.
Okay.
You both are trying to sleep with the zombie constantly banging at the door, and you have headphones on so you can't even hear if it breaks through, and the mom decides to antagonize it and scream at it because she can't sleep? Why? The zombie finally breaks through and gets on top of the mom so we can have the zombie pinning a person down on the ground and not biting their hands or arms encounter. She is taking a long time to turn. Yes, I know she got bit in the leg, so farther away from the brain. Can't wait for this turn time to not matter and happen quicker for smaller characters later on. They start making noise to distract the zombies and...
Fuck you guys! Fuck you! I dare you!
Oh my god, this song for the third time in the episode. And they used it simply because she closed the door in this one shot? Wow, big brain writing. The mother-son combo casually get to drive out of their home without any interference. Convenient. While all this noise is going on, why did this one zombie suddenly, perfectly look over and see them getting in the car? They made no noise whatsoever, and the only significant thing about where they were was the rooftop hoe yelling for TK to hurry up. Do zombies have the cognitive function to discern what a person is saying and where she is looking? Or is this just a plot device? It's a plot device, who am I kidding? Half the horde starts going after them so they can have this tense moment of TK running to the car. And we have another cinematic choice for the series, a 5 frames per second slow motion, and it is awful. It's so grating to view. That, and they put this slideshow to Muse's Blackout. Did a large portion of their budget go to licensing music instead of editing? TK, of course, gets in the car the last second to get away. Gotta love them driving through Rio and not seeing any fire or smoke anywhere, despite aerial views being riddled with fire and smoke. Why would you roll your window down to turn on the radio? You're making noise, and you're gonna leave yourself open? The mother-son combo finally find a blockade of cars. He starts moving the cars out of the way, and then this zombie appears out of nowhere to attack him. Ninja zombies strike again. This grocery store is untouched and looks pristine after all that rioting and zombie attacks. Just like Black Summer, they can leisurely shop around without interference. She unties her because it will let her breathe more easily. He leaves the waiting room because he needs to crap. Bro, just shit in the corner. You're gonna risk being infected or killed over a bathroom break? Oh, never mind, he got chased back into the room and decided to crap in the trash can after risking his life. Doucher is getting out to stretch, unarmed with the window down. He drops his crowbar in the store and a zombie magically appears. You guys were talking and pushing around a grocery cart for who knows how long. Have you ever heard a grocery cart? They aren't the quietest means of food transportation. But whatever, this zombie decides to start chasing him now. These cops are telling the zombies to stay back or they will shoot. Have these officers not seen what's going on? Why are they hesitating? The black officer is bit. The other officer says being bitten is not okay. So they know what zombies are, yet played it off like they didn't know while they were being rushed. Well, in true horror fashion, the black guy dies first. The other officer gets shot in the leg, hears the zombies coming, and makes no attempt to get away. Either Rio's police force is hella underqualified, or the rioters just don't care. Well, keeping with tradition, the black woman dies first from the Olympus cast. Madonna here hesitated to stab her head and gets bitten. Good thing you untied her so she could breathe. So she bit Madonna and just stayed behind long enough so that the hoe could see Madonna was injured so she could surprise them? Why would the nice old black lady even let Madonna get away? Wouldn't she try to keep attacking or something? Why are these zombies not continually attacking the people that they bit? Did she need to wait for her exhaustion to go away to keep using sprint burst? While avoiding demonetization for a YouTuber like me could be very difficult, surfing the web anonymously and keeping your data encrypted can be very easy thanks to NordVPN, today's sponsor. While security is a great thing, it's probably not something that's on the top of your to-do list. Well, as icing on the cake, if there is a video on YouTube or a series on Netflix that is restricted in your country and you just can't watch it, NordVPN can change your server to any country in the world so you can watch it without having to wait for Netflix's chaotic schedule. Hell, if you weren't able to watch Reality Z on Netflix before due to country restrictions, now you can. You can use it on your computer, Apple, or Android devices for safe and secure browsing and to go anywhere you want and watch whatever you want. Head to nordvpn.org/wowsuchgaming to start your plan today. And if you use coupon code wowsuchgaming at checkout, you can take a whopping 70% off a 3-year plan and get an extra 1 month free for just telling them WoW sent ya. Again, that's nordvpn.org/wowsuchgaming and wowsuchgaming at checkout. Now, back to the sins. They push the nice old black lady into the center fountain, and apparently zombies cannot stand back up in shallow bodies of water. Good thing this series ignores this idea later on. Welp, Madonna died in less than a minute from her bite wound and came back. I'm starting to think infection time is reliant on plot convenience and not the placement of the bite. This zombie gets shot in the arm and now acts like he's crippled in the legs. Time to play the same Muse song while we see the city on fire and the mother-son combo are out of their car to go sightseeing, and we get a little bit more crappy low-frame slow motion set to even more licensed music.
They're stupid, aren't they?
They are. But we are not.
They spent their time clearing out the zombies inside the walls and fencing, but probably should also take their time using sharp objects to kill the zombies through the fence. You don't want the only barricade you have available being broken down, do you? After being held at gunpoint and their gas being siphoned, he brings up a palace with food and comms right as they're about to leave. Not when the congressman and his cronies were pointing a gun at you and stealing your gas? Shutting the door just in time before the zombie slams into it, cliche. So the way to fix a distorted camera feed is by hitting the copy key once? Good to know for future live streams. I could really use that. This reality show has the place able to lock down every window like Fort Knox? Why? Another example of zombies turning at someone not making any noise for suspense. How convenient that this mom is the one that created every facet of the communication system at Olympus, because every zombie scenario has someone who knows everything tech-wise. Now, the way the director here is written is intended to be an unlikable asshole, but so annoyingly poorly written, I feel like my sister could write better. But doesn't seem like a person, just a stereotypical gluttonous antagonist. He, however, does come up with the idea to chop up Madonna's body and use her chunks of flesh as bait to distract the horde. So, good idea, I suppose, but this line here... Top sirloin! just no. I'm just gonna say it again. Kill the zombies at the gate through the holes periodically and y'all should be fine. But nah, let the problem get worse and worse until the fence gets knocked over. More slow-mo into licensed music while we get some romantic drama unfolding. Now we get the rising action of the director wanting to leave, spilling drama beans about the contestants.
She only slept with you to raise her prices when she started posing for centerfolds. You would stay when you know how much they hate you.
And attacking the girl with a gun to start a slow-motion licensed music intro. Joy! Yeah, when you have 6 people that are against you, it's probably not the best idea to try to choke one of them out, especially when another person has a handgun. The director tells the pervert that nobody there likes him. The perv doesn't believe him. But conveniently, when he goes to eavesdrop on the group through the one-way glass, they suddenly start talking uber trash about him behind his back. Convenient! The perv starts working with the director and lets him out with a pistol, and they take the main girl hostage. It's almost like letting the most unpredictable person check on the most insane person wasn't the brightest idea. And for once, somebody attacking a guy with a gun to steal it actually gets shot and dies. You could have prevented this by isolating or killing the people that you know would have tried this shit. In an emotional rage, she misses every shot because it's not the time in the story for the main bad guy to die or lose just yet. Just ask Rick Grimes every time he fought Negan. The fence finally starts toppling over just in time for everyone to be outside screaming. The perv, seeing all this happen, just sits there still throwing meat while the fence slowly falls down. You're not gonna, make some distance away from them? No? You're just gonna get eaten? Cool! Nina just sits and stares as the horde draws closer. I get you want to see the people that got TK killed suffer, but it's probably a better idea to run the hell away! The police car shows up in time for all this to be going down and gets itself wrecked at the fence anyways. The director dies in the doorway, and apparently the zombies have enough strength to rip a man's head off. Look at that! But they don't have enough strength to break through doors and fences as groups. Stealth zombies strike again, but this time successfully. The cop car won't start back up, so the black sergeant goes out to, do something, and he gets hoarded and dies. I don't know what his plan was, other than to be a sacrificial lamb for no cause. The mom leaves the car door open long enough for zombies to get in. The rest of the contestants die to the horde, as Nina gets holed up in a room thanks to the last girl being in the control room. Nina decides that she has to fight the horde herself with just a cleaver. All of this is happening so this cast of characters die thoughtlessly so we can have a new cast for the second half of the season. Great writing. Yeah, great writing. Good job. More low frame slow motion because we love it. So the perv is a zombie now? Wouldn't his body have been absolutely torn apart by those dozens of zombies earlier? I never understood how people in the midst of dozens of zombies would be torn to pieces and come back as a whole zombie with just a few bite marks. The cop car residents were able to make a blockade of dead bodies at the door, so the rest of the zombies just give up. It ain't a zombie apocalypse without an underground route to the safe haven. So this group makes the sounds of grenades exploding, rifles firing, and women screaming, and only 5 zombies show up? That whole other group of dozens from earlier, they're not even there anymore? The smoke has them distracted. Who cares? The young kid goes back to close the door, and pop! Another surprise zombie appears to grab his arm. The congressman's assistant here is demanding that the criminal arsonist should not have a fire axe because she is a criminal. Bruh, she lit stuff on fire. She ain't the hash slinging slasher or anything. The same woman who was complaining screams out loud over a goddamn cockroach? You really are going to expose everyone's whereabouts because you're scared of a damn bug. They get to the control room, and much like Big Yoshi, the zombified blonde girl is just sitting there, staring at the monitors, until the alive group gets close enough for her to spin around and attack. The congressman's assistant just stands still while the crippled zombie slowly makes its way towards her. You're not going to make some distance or attempt to find something to fight back with? No, just going to keep screaming so more zombies can show up? Holy crap! Do high heels have enough sturdiness to pierce a human skull? Ladies, from what I have seen, they can break relatively easily if you even step on them wrong. Not that I know from personal experience or anything. The blonde zombie spends a lot of time on the riot shield while the rest of the group just stares at this going on. Wanna not waste time dilly-dallying and, oh, there you go, you actually killed it. Took you long enough.
Well, congratulations. It took 5 of you to kill one of them. I fought one by myself.
True. A chick with stilettos was more efficient at zombie killing than a guy with an assault rifle and a chick with a fire axe. What does this say about this series? Miraculously, power has remained on for the studio to stay up and running. Considering all the fire and explosions we see in aerial shots 5 times an episode, you would think a transformer would be amongst those explosions. But they do explain later on that there are 3 solar panels on top of the studio. That's enough to power on these heavy doors and keep the lights on and play music? The congressman's assistant asks where the army, police, and firefighters are in a TV studio. You work for the government! You would have more information about that than a former television engineer. They go out and have the 2 men clear out rooms of zombies, and the guy that is trained with the rifle has it jam after just 1 shot. You think he would keep check of his weapon, but he is more focused on snorting cocaine. The guy with the riot shield, you're just gonna have it there so they can just pin you down again? Don't give her the gun. Yeah, let's go ahead and let the 2 guys die. That's a great idea. The guard had a Bowie knife this whole time. Didn't want to switch to it when the gun was jammed? No, you're just gonna let yourself get pinned. That was a few loud-ass gunshots, but of course, no other zombies show up to this specific source of sound. So Veronica the Hoe and the doucher are both zombies, despite, again, a horde of zombies tearing them apart and eating them alive, and only having a few flesh wounds to show for it. They easily take these two zombies out, but the last two? No, we needed some suspense.
Smile. You're on camera.
You know, I like puns and jokes, but all I could say is...
Bruh.
They have police and ambulance sirens on a soundboard for a reality show based on ancient Greek Olympus gods? Why? They take out 3 more zombies effectively because it's the time in the plot for them to get shit done. Zombie Veronica is staring at the mirror because her living self was vain and obsessed with her own looks. Now you have to think, zombies without character development, the ones we just see in the background, never do stuff like this. They just wander around aimlessly in the streets. The writer wants it to be one of those moments where you're like, oh, she's still herself despite being a zombie. She retained some of her memories. But only zombies we know about beforehand are able to do this, not any other zombie. The zombie Nina becomes zombie ninja and just slowly creeps up on the assistant while she does her makeup and just stares at her, doesn't attack, giving the assistant long enough time to notice her in the mirror. What a polite zombie. Inconvenient too. Well, better sit here and scream instead of doing anything, pushing her away, or even using those powerful ass shoes of yours. Zombie Nina, despite all the screaming, doesn't even attack her. She still stares at her while she's screaming bloody murder, giving the rest of the group enough time to barge in and see her. Because we knew her beforehand, this zombie Nina remains calm, long enough for the mom to try and touch her, thinking this zombie is different. No one tries to stop her from approaching this zombie, and the mom gets bitten. Genius writing! She hides her wound and the fact that she is bitten and attempts to cauterize it with a hot knife. Decent effort, because that does help in some infections, but burning a wound an hour after it's already started infecting you ain't gonna do shit. What does a reality show based in ancient Greece have a butane torch for anyways? Are they doing dabs? And this episode ends with 5 frames per second slow-mo again. They discover the outbreak is worldwide, because no military in the world can handle zombies apparently. COVID-19 jokes aside, it only spreads through bites. It should be preventable with a sizable enough force of armed and armored people. So the mom engineer sends out a public broadcast for people to come to them, saying that Olympus is a heavenly paradise. The assistant starts throwing a tantrum saying, oh, we could just live here forever, like food will never run out. Well, conveniently enough, they have to go back underground to establish a video connection to a conference room in the business building that these tunnels are connected to vet incoming survivors. She connects some wires to get this going, and a horde of zombies were apparently right around the corner able to hear this and swarm on them? Where the hell did they come from? They weren't making any noise beforehand. The guard drops his gun and gets pinned again. The son picks up the rifle and shoots it. The guard asks where he learned to shoot a gun. The son says video games. Bruh, games might help, but honestly, if you can't shoot something point blank, you are blind. Video games aren't going to help you that much. While they set up the camera feed, this zombie in the distance wanders in the room slowly, and nobody there hears it coming till the last moment. It's literally growling loudly as possible where you can even hear it. How is everyone there suddenly deaf until it's too close? The zombie gets in because they didn't even shut the door either, and the guard was standing guard outside. Dude, that's your one job. You couldn't even do that, right? The mom was bitten on the arm, cauterized her wound an hour after the fact, and is still not showing a single symptom. The girl earlier got bit in the leg and was showing heavy ass symptoms with a lot of sweating and a lot of heavy breathing in 30 minutes or less. So this broadcast lets people know to go to this specific room in this big ass building and to talk to a camera. I don't remember those instructions in the broadcast. So these people are desperate to get to safety, and the arsonist, in the span of a minute, leaves the control room, goes through the entire building, went to the underground tunnels, got the people in the separate building, and came all the way back through the tunnels in the span of just a minute. The reason the arsonist wanted to bring this group here is because the older guy said he was a doctor and that the mom needs a doctor because, oh, grand reveal, she's bitten You know, even with the doctor's opinion, you know what's gonna happen.
If she has been bitten, we'll have to kill her.
For once, a ditzy blonde is the voice of reason.
Here, I had the Olympus super combo. That's 20 simultaneous cameras.
Can you
But
shut
I've been
up?
watching you all this entire time.
So before the zombie apocalypse, this reality show had a membership offer for their fans to watch all 20 cams online at all times. You realize some of these people have sex, right? I doubt a cable show would allow potential porn to be accessible, but then again, I don't know much about Brazil's broadcasting rules. So the only remnant of any of the original characters is a super fan who obsessively watched these cameras to learn from them. This would be a great idea, but I mean, the fact that they killed off all their cast and it was just a super fan watching them, that's the only remnant we have of the first 5 episodes. The guard gets everyone to strip to check for bites, but makes it creepy in front of everyone there by feeling up the superfan with his eyes. The bitten mom acts as bait to lure the zombies outside, sacrificing herself to the tune of The Who's Love Reign Over Me. While a powerful scene, I will admit, the fact that the zombies here give these two enough time to have the "I love you" moment does kind of take me out of it because it doesn't seem realistic. Maybe I'm just too critical of a zombie lover, but that's why you're here, right? The zombies are slowly leaving the front door, going to the source of sound that came from the dead mom. But the group decides to enter the room before they all leave and initiate a fight with them, with this girl screaming as loudly as possible before attacking? Yeah, that's a great idea. It's not like a guy's mom just sacrificed herself so the zombies would all leave the building. She holds off 2 zombies at once, even though she has been pinned by their rip-a-head-off strength numerous times before. 2 zombies enter the center pool of water to get the guard, which, if you remember earlier, the fountain water completely immobilized that one black girl zombie to just flailing around. Apparently water had something to do with that. But these 2 zombies can fully pin the guard down and walk around in it, get up out of it after they've fallen over in it. I'm glad to see continuity was forgotten instantly. So once this is all over, they decide to take the dead bodies of all these zombies outside the building and throw them off the rooftop and then light them on fire. Look, I understand sanitation, you don't want rotting corpses, but these bodies are outside of where you are living and will most likely be picked apart by the other undead. Why would you risk a fire spreading to your own safe haven? Yeah, let's go ahead and take selfies in the control room and not conserve battery power in case of an outage. Cell phones aren't used as phones anyways these days, guys. Yeah, let's go ahead and turn on some loud-ass party music and strobe lights because zombies are totally not attracted to loud noise or blinking lights. The superfan seductively tells the guard that the doctor is not actually her husband and that he isn't really a doctor. It's just a story they came up with to convince people to let them in to survive. Well, now they don't have anybody that's knowledgeable with medicine or health, but at least the guard gets to have a 3-way and ignore the lie. The son and the arsonist make sweet, sweet low frames per second slow-mo love for over a minute of screen time? Why? You're acting like these 2 characters have earned this love, but they've barely known each other. Why are we getting a minute of them having sex? Well, in a very disturbing scene right after, the fake doctor had recorded this coitus on his phone and then shows it to the arsonist and starts to force himself on her. While he's trying to rape her, the guard shoots the rapist in the back of the head and kills him. And the first thing the arsonist does?
Robson, you don't have that right.
To save you?
To fucking execute him!
He was about to rape her.
Thank you so much, but I had it under control.
Girl, you should be praising the motherfucker. Another group shows up in the waiting room, and the guard assumes the guy with the rifle and tons of ammo is a drug dealer? What? It's nearly a week into the zombie apocalypse. People are gonna find shit like this to survive. Why are you automatically assuming he's a drug dealer? They allow this new group of people to enter Olympus after disarming them and stripping them down to check for bites. Then they say that the new group must expel one of their own, like it's a damn reality show. What? And all of this is to show that this new group can be trusted? How is this a show of trust? It feels like they forgot this was based around a reality show that was derailed during the zombie outbreak, and the writers ham-fisted the reality show elimination idea just to say, oh yeah, this is called Reality Z. We need to do something that utilizes the reality show elimination idea. But let's go ahead and execute it poorly. The arsonist is still mad about the rapist being killed, saying it's only us versus the dead. But it's probable other people could deceive you and harm you. I mean, you were about to be raped earlier, weren't you? They started watching the people from the control room like it's a reality show and who should be voted off, even joking about it. While I think the idea itself is interesting and unique, again, it's been executed poorly with this cast of characters who all had nothing to do with the original show's broadcast except for the mom engineer. And most of them didn't even care or know anything about this series except for the superfan. But now they're all acting like they love this. Now maybe if the corrupt director from earlier or a contestant had survived to propose this idea, it would make a little more sense. But the idea comes from the congressman. The new group in the show starts voting for the castaway, and the gay couple say the dealer. Does everyone just assume he is a dealer, even though this group has been together and probably discussed their lives before all this in some degree? What about this guy looks like a thug? He looks like a college-age gamer more than anything, or that he should be on the British show IT. The arsonist and son, in a fit of rebellion, go off on their own to change the broadcast originally recorded by the congressman in order to welcome everyone that might be nearby. Can't wait to see this backfire. They start having isolated vote interviews with each individual person to see who gets voted off. We do get some interesting interactions with these solo people, but none of it matters, because the arsonist hacked into the mainframe and told them all that these votes don't even matter. While the two groups are arguing if the test was real or not, the guard, who has done enough coke to give an African elephant a heart attack, somehow went outside, found a dog catcher pole, got it around a zombie's neck, and let it back inside. Ignore the fact that the zombie isn't trying to eat the guard at all, he's just ignoring him. And while he was getting this one zombie, he left the front door wide open so other zombies might be able to get in. Why? To prove a point on who is a coward. The guard decides to let the zombie loose. Thankfully, nobody gets bitten in this encounter, but we do discover the jock is a selfish asshole because he pushed the grandma in harm's way. So the guard guides him via the restraint into the zombies outside, who apparently ignored the guard getting a zombie out there in the first place while making a hell of a bunch of noise. We get voted off music as the jock is eaten alive. I guess it's supposed to be funny, but with the zombies ignoring the guard 2 feet away, I have to put us in here. So this whole group decides now is the best time to get the gates closed. After making all that noise with gunshots and screaming, why? Wouldn't it be better to get back inside, wait for the numbers to thin out as they get bored, and stealthily take them out the next day? No? Well, we need an action scene, so, roll the license music. The lawyer and son look-alike get bitten in the attack, and both are allowed to have this long, dramatic moment before death. Without any more zombies showing up while the gates are still open, I thought there was a horde coming. After even more gunshots and yelling, nothing is showing up except maybe 1 or 2 undead. But when they finally get the gates closing and the gates are making that noise, a herd finally shows up to make this last attempt at safety more dramatic, because zombies only operate to make things more dramatic after all. Leo is forced to run away, trying to secure the fence from being knocked down as the slow-mo triggers once more, and the arsonist stays back to see if Leo is there, because zombies always politely slow down while you have these dramatic pauses. The gay couple both turn in the span of 5 seconds so we can have them attack from behind. Now that the outside confrontation is over, dozens of people are in the waiting room suddenly because we are at the final episode and we need a oh shit cliffhanger. The final episode opens with Joe Cocker's cover of With a Little Help from My Friends. But considering nobody is really buddy-buddy, except if they've had sex up until this point, this music doesn't really fit. That, and despite all the noise they made at the station, there are surprisingly few zombies outside, especially after they chased them up into the front door. The assistant's primary concern for this many people coming to Olympus is not having enough bathrooms, not food, water, or supplies, just a place to lay a Dukenheimer.
Dying isn't the worst thing that can happen to you in this world.
Cue edgy voice line for potential trailers. Terrorists show up on camera and hold the room of people hostage, and the boss named Fish unmasks himself. Why is he even wearing a ski mask at this point, only to take it off directly in front of the camera? In order to gain entry into Olympus, Fish and his men create an ultimatum, saying they will kill a hostage every 15 minutes that a choice isn't made. And guess who their first hostage is? You thought he died when he ran away, but he didn't. It's the son, Leo. How convenient! Fish has a gun pointed at Leo's head, counting down from 10. In order to stop this countdown, the congressman simply replies by saying, "Hey man, don't kill people. Don't you know you can use them?" Bruh, you think a leader of an armed gang hasn't thought of that? The guard creates a plan to ambush the gang as they go into Olympus. So they show up in Olympus with one more than they agreed upon, and Fish asks the congressman why they shouldn't kill everyone. And the congressman replies with, "Bro, you're smart, don't do it." Suddenly, we're seeing a massive horde of zombies attacking the business building for no rhyme or reason, and are able to break through the glass doors in no time. Well, we start having a Mexican standoff. Fish gets a handgun pointed at him by the congressman, and Fish instantly tells his men to drop everything. The congressman then shifts his aim from Fish to the guard that was protecting him this whole time and shoots him in the head. Because, you know, politicians are all two-faced and evil. Am I right? The sound of gunshots attract the entire Rio populace of zombies to Olympus because these gunshots are part of the final act, and these gunshots have to attract as many zombies as possible. So now that the congressman and Fish have an alliance together, the congressman says he can have the women as he pleases. So Fish grabs the grandmother and says that she is useless and is probably about to kill her. So the mathematician, through the one-way glass of this room, yells not to touch her, losing the element of surprise that he had with a high-powered scoped rifle and still misses a headshot on Fish. Why do people yell before attacking? Why? You had the element of surprise to shoot that guy in the head, but gave him enough time to dodge. The mathematician gets one headshot, and then he gets shot through the glass randomly by one of the other gang members. Fish tells him to come outside, and then he gets shot in the head. For a good guy with numbers, you sure did not weigh your chances here. Everyone starts dying or getting shot left and right. The superfan gets in the control room, and everything has gone to hell. What's gonna happen? Well, there goes that Joe Cocker song again. Just show a bunch of random clips to the music. That's good cinematography, and it works so well with Suicide Squad. The arsonist records herself saying to watch the footage on the phone of the mom engineer explaining how to operate Olympus. She also has this monologue about how humanity's just evil no matter what the case. While this monologue is powerful, it doesn't feel earned from a character that had so little development through the series, especially with this kind of speech we hear in every movie or series when it comes to an apocalypse. The zombies find their way through the tunnel and into the Olympus main room because they must have mini-maps in the bottom right corner of their eye sockets with quest trackers to guide them to the remaining survivors. While the arsonist is slowly bleeding out, she reveals a hidden panel on the wall right behind her so she can hide the phone there for future people. Convenient! The congressman slinks away, finds the superfan in the control room, and orders her to cut his arm off since he was just bitten, even though she had nothing of the sort to do so. He might be desperate, but I mean, really? Are you that stupid? The assistant, after killing the congressman, reveals to the superfan that she was bitten on the neck, so her time is very limited. The superfan's first reaction to this, her non-hesitant response, is to tell her,
"Bite me."
And the assistant, not even hesitating, does just that. Was this a unique take, saying pre-zombie infected can transmit the virus through a bite? Nah, probably not. It was probably just so one hot chick would bite the other, so a lot of people watching would get awkward boners. Leo lets the zombies in so they can die like idiotic heroes, I guess. Well, it leads to Fish and his gang dying, who apparently weren't being attacked by the other zombies that were there the entire time beforehand. Well, we get an aerial view of Rio for the dozenth time to licensed music, and smoke is still roaring in specific locations. Man, these fires are long-lasting. It's been a week now. The superfan is pulling the exact same shot as the hoe from earlier, looking in the mirror because she was vain too. All my arguments about this shot are the same from earlier, it's just they're doing it again. We see an arrow painted in blood pointing to the hidden panel that she hid that phone in, marked with a handprint of blood on the brick. I don't know about you, but I don't think anyone going into this zombie-infested studio will see this bloody arrow pointed at the wall and think, oh, it's like a hint in Skyrim, I just gotta press it. But you know, it's season 1, so it's probably gonna happen. Oh, an unknown number is calling the arsonist right now? Why just now? Except only to make a season cliffhanger to say, oh, there's more people.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Everyone died. The end.
That didn't help at all.
So, have you been arrested or did you put a gang together?
Respect his authority.
And you will respect my authority!
I'll do this with my hands.
This is madness.
This is Sparta!
Welcome to Whose Line Is It Anyway, the show where everything's made up and the points don't matter.